Good afternoon. It's once again Friday at 5:30 or so in the p.m. And this is your host for the next 25 minutes of the hottest hotline in town. You know, it's really been unbelievable. It's been an incredible last 20 or 30 days in terms of the weather. Anybody who don't believe in global warming, they just could not have been in Chicago the last 30 days or so. The winter has been just great, but guess what? I understand that it's about to end. And as it ends, I am so delighted to know that on tomorrow, Saturday, January the 12th, we have our annual Winter Resource Fair, and that's what we call it. Bottom line, there are a lot of people in our city who have serious difficulty with their utilities. Their gas may be turned off. The lights may be off. They may not have any heat, and that's because they didn't have the money to pay the gas bill, pay the light bill. Fortunately, there is something in this country called the LIHEAP program, the Low Income Energy Assistance Program. And I am so delighted that the people in the South Austin community, especially of Chicago, had a great deal to do with getting it started in the state of Illinois. It started as a 12%, that is, if you paid 12% of your income, gross income, then you wouldn't get your lights and gas and utilities turned off. That evolved from that into the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, the federal government, state government, and we have the utility companies, ComEd, People's Gas, Cedar, Nicor Gas. All of these individuals are going to be at the Mark Skinner Classical School, 1260 West Adams Street on tomorrow. And if you're having trouble with your gas and lights, you can get help. If you come for help, though, you need to bring proof of your income for the last 30 days, a copy of your most recent heat and electric bill if you pay for your home energy, proof of the Social Security numbers of the people who live in your home. If you're on TANF, you need to bring your medical eligibility card. And applicants that have utilities included in the rent must bring proof of the rental agreement. And so, if you're having trouble, come on down to the Skinner Elementary School and you can get some help from 10 to 1. Try and come early because oftentimes the money will run out before everybody get a chance to be served. Come on down and get the help that you need. My staff person, the district director of our office, Sharita Logan, puts this together every year, and we're going to be able to help you. I think last year we may have helped more than 200 people with their gas and lights. So we want to help you. Come on down. Let me mention a couple things about the government shutdown, and then we're going to go right to the phone. It's unbelievable that our federal government, partials of it, would be shut down now for 20 days. Nobody thought, well, I can't say what nobody thought or what anybody thought. I didn't think it would last this long. But I guess we better gird our loins and just know what we're in for. I think that we're in for 2 years of hard-nosed political infighting. We're in for 2 years of political parties being at odds with each other. We've always been that way. But I think this is going to be more acrimonious than we've seen in a long time. So don't be surprised. There are people calling all offices. We've had people calling my office saying some real nasty things about the situation, about elected officials, about politicians. But you know, most of those who call my office with those kind of comments don't live in my congressional district. They live in other places, and they'll call and say, you people are the reasons that so and so and so is happening. So I just try to tell my staff, know that they're not talking to you. They're talking about something that they want to get off their chest. You didn't shut the government down. You didn't have anything to do with shutting the government down. All that you've done was try to be a decent citizen, pay your taxes, be civil, go through the normal processes. Your congressman didn't help shut the government down. Your senators didn't shut the government down. Somebody else shut the government down. And so just understand what's going on. That's all I'll say about that. And let me make one more announcement, because on Sunday, the 20th, there is going to be a celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. The West Side Black elected officials and the West Side branch, NAACP, from 3 o'clock p.m. until we get through, which would probably be about 5:30, at the Clare Christian United Methodist Church at 3956 West 14th Street in Chicago, Illinois. Put it on your calendar and come on out to Clare Christian and help us celebrate the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. Young people are our keynote speakers. Ms. Tara Levy, who is involved with the West Side NAACP, and Reverend Ed Bickham, who's a social worker and a young fellow who runs a men's program at Sankofa Safe Child Institute, will be our keynote speakers. This has been planned by Cook County Commissioner Dennis Deere, and I have helped him, so we are involved with it. And of course, State Representative Arthur Turner Jr. and Alderman Michael Scott are hosting a reception, which means that we're going to have some Kool-Aid and crackers and, tuna, fish, sandwiches or something after we finish. We'll probably have a little piece of pound cake. You know what a reception is. We'll stand around and talk a little bit. So make sure you put it on your calendar and come. And let me go to the phone and get our first caller. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, how you doing, Congressman Davis?
I am good, James. How are you?
Yeah. Okay, you're absolutely right. They should not blame the politicians. They should blame Donald Trump. The people blame Donald Trump. They vote for him. It's time for God to step in.
Well, let me tell you, God is sitting high on the throne, looking at what's going on. I remember that Dr. King used to often say, truth on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. But God in the shadows standeth God, keeping watch over his own. And I remember him saying that truth crushed to the earth will rise again. So know ye the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Uh-huh.
So I agree with you, James, absolutely. Thanks for the call. Come on out next Sunday and join us at the Martin Luther King celebration. It's going to be wonderful. All right, we'll go to our next caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good evening. Good Congressman Danny Davis. You know what?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
hope everybody that lives in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois know how valuable you are to us. I don't care what your nationality is, what your race, or anything. You are a historian.
Well, let me just thank you so much. I just try to do whatever I can. My mama used to
At
tell
the right
us,
place. You're always
pardon?
at the right place at the right time. And even all the things that you talk about took me down memory lane.
Yeah, we've gone through a lot of
started the
things.
energy program. When we started the energy program, Clarence Cash.
You're so right.
We have worked diligently.
The Department of Human Resources for the city of
Exactly.
Chicago.
Exactly.
You know, Clarence Cash was an athlete as small as he was. He used to be a coach down in Tennessee
Exactly.
before he came to Chicago. He looked like he weighed only about 120 pounds.
But he was God sent, just like you are God sent, just like all of us are God sent. And we need to help each other. And thank you so much for being there for us in the state of Illinois and in Chicago.
Well,
and
thank
continue
you.
on with your successful life to you and your family and all of the West Side. Thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate it, and we thank you so much. And it's people like you who have a memory bank that know how some of these things got started and know that they didn't just fall out the sky. People made them happen. And so when we think of how far as a country we have come, and James Weldon Johnson was absolutely right when he said that we've come over a way that with tears have been watered.
And never before have the government been shut down like this. This is awesome.
It is unbelievable, but
Continue to pray and get out there and vote.
but we will rise again, and the government will be more democratic. It's going to be more inclusive. It's going to be more open. For example, we have more African Americans in Congress right now than we've ever had in the history of the country. There are 435 members of the House, 100 members of the Senate, and 55 of those are individuals of African heritage who are decreed as being African Americans are black. And we've never had that. 5 chairmen of the House committees are African Americans. 5 chairmen of the of the House committees are African Americans. Maxine Waters from California, Eddie Bernice Johnson from Texas, Bennett Thompson from Mississippi, and I'm having one of these senior moments, but also 3 members of the House leadership that are Democrats are African American. Jim Clyburn is the number 3 guy. Hakeem Jeffries is the chairman of the caucus. And so we got a great chance to have influence and make impact. And that's what we're going to do. So thank you so much. And of course, anybody who want to give us a call and join in this conversation can do something. But we also got to let our government know. Let me just mention 2 or 3 people. Steve Robinson's son was killed this past week, and of course we are grieving for him. Dr. Willie Box just passed away, and his services are going to be next week. I knew him when he was growing up, and his family lived over on Fillmore Street, down in that little area there across Pulaski, where I lived when I first came to town. And so we're grieving all the people in that neighborhood, in that community. There were great families, the Box families, the Norwood families, the King families. All of these are individuals who excelled and achieved coming right out of that little area where we used to live, from Pulaski down to Costner, and from 16th Street or 12th Street over to the Congress Expressway. And so we just sort of send out a bit of condolences to all of the residents of those areas who've lost these wonderful, wonderful people, and to Steve Robinson and the folks at the Northwest Austin Council. We certainly want to send condolences out to them on the loss of the Robinson young man, who was just a decent, solid, everyday, hard-working, great guy, and somebody snuffed out his life. And that is just so. We want to say to Mother Nash, Evangelist Nash, and her family, condolences also, because they lost a member of their family, a young fellow that she basically raised. And so we're still having these tragic things. All of it was not shooting. Some of it was attributed to the use of opioids, and you can overdose. Let's do something about individuals reaching the point where they feel the need to get external help. I don't have any bones about saying that I am what is called a practicing Christian. And I think that people who've never connected with something, and they don't have to call it Christianity. They can call it whatever. It can be Buddhism. It can be Shintoism. They can be whatever. They can be Muslim. But if you don't have something that you can connect with when you're disappointed, when things ain't going the way you want them to go, I often say to young people at colleges and universities when I go there to talk to them, that it's good to know science, it's good to know computers, it's good to know the great books, but if you can know something else, if you can have something within that holdeth the rein, something that you can't even explain, when times really get tough and you go down, 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 it will lift you up. And we always get a little laugh when I tell them that I can be driving down the road thinking about all my problems and don't have any friends, and then I'll say, what a friend I have in Jesus. All of my sins and griefs to bear. Oh, what a privilege it is to carry everything to God in prayer. The next thing I know, I'm saying, I can see clearly now. The sun's going to shine. I mean, have some positive force. And so know that life provides you with whatever it is that you give to life. Life will give back to you. And you can give us a call, and we are still talking about the shutdown. We're talking about moving to Black history. Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
You know what, Congressman? First of all, it's a great day to be on God's green earth. I just listened to that segment, everything that you were just saying about believing. You got to have some faith in something. I was going to talk about Donald Duck, but now I know I got to say something now. That's what's wrong with him. He don't have no belief. He don't have no faith. Only thing he has faith in is one thing, the root of all evil, and that is money. That's the only thing that man care about is money and pleasing his base. He's like chaos. He's a chaos agent. The more trouble he could do, and you know what, it hurts my heart to talk about someone like this. It just really do. You know, it got to a point I can't stand to watch his face. He lies so much. He should be called Pinocchio. He would need 100 people to walk around with him carrying his nose and then have a surgeon there to cut some of that out so it could grow some more.
Now, you know what the blues singers said about money, right? They said money don't get everything is true, but what it don't get, I can't use.
Well, see, let me tell you something. He's a hoarder. You know, listen, if the normal person, if you got heat, gas, food, light, and you could get your family something every now and then, you have did a wonderful job. You did not go rob, steal, kill, beg. You did it the right way. We have came a long way. A long ways. And let me tell you, and they hate to give credit to us for the things we have done. The 5 people in the house are black people. Who would ever thought about that 30 years ago? Who ever would have thought that we would have that? Who would ever thought we had a black president? And that's another thing. Why everything come out of his mouth? He always got to say Obama, Obama. He said somewhere Obama got a wall around his house. Hell, he got bricks around Trump Tower, garbage trucks and everything else. But he talked about everyone else. You know what? I don't want to say I hate him, but I dislike the man. I dislike what he says and what he do. I thought I would never be 70 years old and be able to say something like that. Listen, Congress, do us a favor. When you're at work one day and he's there, say, you know what, you need to listen to our constituents. I'd like to invite you over there. And I promise you, he might not get back. This man don't have no business in office. Listen, let me get out the air. You're a heck of a good politician. I know you don't never talk about anything wrong. You're always on. You try to be diplomatic. But just when you did, tap that desk if you think that we are telling you the truth. Let me get out there so I can hear your response. And don't give nobody no crackers and Kool-Aid. I wouldn't come nowhere for no crackers and Kool-Aid. But tap on that desk and let us know are we right.
But you want some caviar at one of these receptions?
No, I don't necessarily have to have caviar. And it's not about what you're serving, is what we about to hear, what you about to feed us with. That's the most important thing. So if it was nothing but crackers and you was there, I would be there for it. Let me get out there because I know you're about to leave. I want to hear some of your responses.
All right. Well, thank you so very much. And you know, we have a level of civility that we're always trying to reach and trying to surpass. I've never thought that I would disagree so much, and it's not really just disagreeing with the president. Because I've disagreed with the Supreme Court more in the last few years than I ever thought I would be, just fundamentally disagreeing with the court. But what it really tells us is that there are two kinds of people in the world. There are those who shape and mold society. And there are those who are shaped and molded by society. And we have to decide, do I want to be a molder, or am I content to be a moldee? We've got all of these elections coming up next month. I understand that more than 200 people filed to run for the city council and for mayor and city clerk and city treasurer. If you don't do anything else this year, please make sure that we go out and vote, because things often start from the top in one sense and come down. But I believe in what I call the bottoms-up approach to public decision making. And let us know that things really start at the bottom and move up. And we can change whatever it is that we don't like, whatever it is that we don't agree with, we can change it. And so, as I get ready to sign off, I was thinking seriously all week about my mother. And she used to tell us good, better, and best. Never let it rest until your good becomes your better, and your better becomes your best. Always keep reaching for the top. And if you don't get to the top, you get somewhere higher than where you were. Have a wonderful week. It's getting ready to get cold. And remember, if you've got a problem with your utilities, come on out to the Skinner Elementary School tomorrow morning and let us help you. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful one.